Friday's coming up, and you guys are probably wondering what great deals you can get. Well, I'm wearing this brand new Gsxrclyde hoodie, and you can get it on Friday. Gsxrclyde is going to have a Black Friday deal. If you spend $30, you're going to get a sticker with your order. If you spend $50, you're going to get a cool waifu arm sleeve with your order and also the sticker. If you spend $75, you're going to get a waifu jug. You'll also get the sleeve and you'll also get the sticker as well. And then when you get into the $100 range and you spend $100 on an order, you get a free t-shirt, you get the jug, you get the sleeve, and you also get the sticker. And if you spend $150 on the Black Friday sale, you'll get a hoodie, a t-shirt, a jug, a sleeve, and a sticker. Code Clyde at checkout. The possibilities are insane. Get the drip while it's hot. This deal will end when supplies run out. So use code Clyde at checkout. Maybe you don't need waifu, but guess what? You need a new PC because the holidays are coming up and you're looking for those Black Friday deals. Well, guess what? Black Friday end of the year sale at powergpu.com using code Clyde at checkout. Power is waiving the $150 build fee. Now, Micro Center charges $150 as well. $150 off the whole build. Plus, if you use my code at checkout, you get an additional $50 off. So pretty much you're getting free shipping and free labor costs. Head on over there, check out those deals. Ability changes coming next week. I had to put this in a separate video because this is a lot of info. We're going to go over the rest of the Bungie article right now. So sit back. We got ability changes coming, and pretty much what they want to do is they want to change grenade energy, how you get stuff back, how you get abilities back, how fast you're getting them, and they wanted to give us a good explanation here. A perk that grants 10% energy per grenade on activation results in a cooldown reduction of 6.4 seconds to a firebolt grenade, but results in a cooldown reduction of 15 seconds for a lightning grenade. So the new system, what they want to implement is a perk that grants a base of value of 10% grenade energy on activation, results in a cooldown of 6.4 seconds for a firebolt grenade and results in a cooldown reduction of 7.6 for lightning grenade. So they're trying to even this out, and there's a reason why, because there's examples like grenade kickstart, innervation, absolution, demolitionist, stuff you can run on your builds to get rid of all the cooldowns. We're getting a lot of grenade builds, we're getting a lot of melee builds, we're getting a lot of upkeep of all our abilities. And Bungie's like, hey, we should tune that down a little bit. And I agree. But when we get down below, you'll kind of see where it goes south. Staying alive has been pretty easy in PvE, as you might say, especially when you're playing with teams. Well, Bungie's going after a lot of stuff like Woven Mail and Restoration, and I wanted to point this out. Woven Mail is reduced damage resistance versus PvE commands from 55 to 45. So we lost 10%. It's not a big deal. Trust me, Woven Mail's still busted. Plus you have Banner of War. We're good. But restoration changes are coming for ×1 and ×2. So restoration at ×1, your old restoration will be 40 HP for PvE and 20 HP for PvP. The new system is going to be 35 HP for PvE and 17.5 for PvP. That is okay. Everyone knows that unlimited restoration builds did keep you alive in a lot of endgame activities, and it's really simple to proc restoration ×2, which we're about to show here on like Warlocks. You can actually do it on Titans too. Again, we'll just get to that. Reduce the healing rate for restoration ×2. 65 was the old one. That's crazy how high it was. And 32.5 for PvP for the healing on the old system. On the new system, going to be 50, so we're going to lose 15 HP and 25 HP for PvP. I agree with all this. I think it's great. They're going to tone it down a little bit. We don't just run around like we're gods. Devour. I really don't understand this change because we do use Feed the Void a lot. So Devour, the healing amount, both on activation and when refreshed, reduced from full heal to 100 HP. 100 HP, I mean, you're still going to get it and you're still going to be cracking a lot of kills with Devour. So I really don't think we're going to see a huge difference in this because it says unless Feed the Void is equipped, and it now refills both health and shield sections more smoothly rather than adding health to each section separately. How before you get a kill and it would just chunk random abilities and health. Now it's going to be more fluent, which is good. But Feed the Void we run on our Warlocks. You're going to get increased grenade energy regeneration per kill while Devour is active. So running Briarbind's build, which I love running now, is going to be, I'm going to get more grenade energy. So that's going to be insane. This amount, it says, will vary based on the type of the target defeated, minor, major, boss. And now Feed the Void's going to also improve the strength of Devour's heal when equipped. I mean, again, I think it's going to be really good. We will test this out and see if it's good. We lost a little bit of healing on Devour, but everyone knows that it's pretty easy to keep up and it saves you when you need it. Now we get into the sprint and slide melees. Everyone knows that stuff's pretty busted in PvP. This is going to affect PvP a lot. This is a skill gap. Only certain players use this kind of play style. Definitely affected some PvE boss breaks as well. You know, Shield Bash Titan on solo, Golgoroth, Paramin Greaves Titans, one-shotting champions, and a lot of Titans in PvP, just hammer strike and shotgunning at the same time, also shield strike and shield bash. So now sprint and slide activated melees can no longer be activated after the players fire their weapon during a slide. So as long as we don't slide in PvE, we could still get away with it, but PvP, no. The effects are going to be the following: melee abilities: the seismic strike, the shield bash, the hammer strike, howl of storm, consecration, flechette storm, lightning surge, and tempest strike. PvP players might be in shambles because of that. Tempest strike is getting a buff. It's increased base damage from 110 to 125. This is kind of insane, and they reworked the behavior to be more consistent to longer ranges and improve consistency when traveling on the rough terrain. Tempest strike is not used by a lot of PvE guys, but PvP it is used a lot, and man, it's balding. And the fact now that if someone hits you with that, it's 125, but again, they can't shotgun then do it, or they go. We'll see if it's good. Bonk Hammer and Banner of War, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. So I do want to read this sentence here first. I just didn't understand this. I made a really good point earlier. With Season of the Witch, we released Banner of the War, which has quickly jumped to the top of the aspect list of our Titan players. It's currently equipped for nearly 20% of all Titan playtime or Season of the Witch PvE activities. This is rivaled only by Into the Fray at 15% of the playtime, which is Banner's natural pairing, and they're really happy about that. But the reason why they didn't touch it till now is because they wanted people to buy Lightfall. They knew if they touched Banner of War, they nerfed Strand at all, people would have got mad. Now they're coming after it. They're not going after it too bad. I just think it's funny that they didn't nerf it at all. And when we talk about the Bonk Hammer, it'll be the same thing. They didn't want to nerf Bonk, they didn't want to nerf Solar Titan because of the new Pyrogale exotic. I just wanted to put that feedback in there, but it's kind of obvious. Just because 20% of the player base uses something doesn't mean that it needs to be nerfed. In this case, we get Banner of Wars, melting bosses, and Bonk Hammer always has. Sometimes the community doesn't agree with this kind of stuff, so kind of up to you, whatever you want to go off of. So Banner of War increased the number of enemies defeats necessarily to level up Banner by approximately double, and increase the amount of time added per enemy defeat to each level to compensate. Banner of War still busted. Trust me, this change doesn't do anything. These values vary depending on what type of target you defeat. It will be fine. Fixed an issue where unpowered swords were being granted a damage boost by Banner of War. We've seen this happen in the past. We kind of noticed this happening right away about the unpowered swords, and Bungie obviously just nipped it in the bud. So with Bonk Hammer, the throwing hammer, the almighty Bonk himself, is it time for the Bonk Hammer to finally rest in peace? Kind of. Throwing hammer, when picked up, it now returns melee energy over 1.4 seconds rather than instantly. Also increased projectile tracking strength by 20%. The tracking projectile is going to be huge so people don't miss. 1.4 seconds is okay. They just don't want you sitting underneath a boss and just throwing your hammer like a Titan would usually do. 1.4 seconds isn't bad. Are you still able to keep yourself alive and throw your hammer every 1.4 seconds and get plenty of kills? Yes. I think if they would have took it to like 3 seconds, people would have been pissed. But it's 1 second. It's literally like throw your hammer, run around, pick it up, go to the next enemy, throw it. You know, you're just not going to be able to just toss. Throwing hammer, Bonk Hammer has needed nerfed for a while, and now they finally did it. But they wanted you to enjoy Pyrogale for a season like we did. Also, they didn't want us sitting in the sunspots with Sol Invictus, so they reduced the maximum sunspot duration from 20 seconds to 12. Myself, when I make a sunspot, I get restoration, I get heals, and I move on, so I never sat in my sunspot for that long. Again, it was a playstyle, so I understand why they did it to 12. Duration is only reached when the player is standing inside the sunspot. If you don't, sunspot duration without the owner standing in it remains unchanged at 5 seconds. Again, this is something where you don't overreact until you use it. As someone that mains, I main Bonk Titan, I think we'll be fine, especially with all the artifact mods coming next season. I mean, we're gonna be good. Your Pyrogale Titan's gonna do more damage. You're fine. Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn has been a big problem in Trials, and Bungie's here to tell us, yes, we hear you. So they're moving them to a tier 2 cooldown, increase the base cooldown time of 417 seconds to 455. That's about 38 seconds added on. They don't want us spamming Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn in Trials anymore. But again, they kind of set themselves up for that, for making a capture zone anyway. And still, if you go up against 3 Ward of Dawn Titans, 3 shields with overshields, they're still going to reign supreme. But they said that they will be paying attention to this and monitoring if it's good enough. They said right here, we're not making further changes to Well or Ward with Season of the Wish, but we have a suite of future changes planned to reduce Well's dominance in PvE and push the gameplay space of these two supers further apart. So the Well of Radiance nerf is coming in final shape. We've all said that this needs to happen. I mean, just sitting in a well and just spamming rockets and spamming supers, there needs to be a change up. We need to be afraid of something going into DPS. Well of Radiance is good where it's at. It just needs, I think they just tuned down the healing and maybe tuned down the 25% damage, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to change it. It seems like the community agrees that the well is too dominant. It's not just me saying this, so I'm kind of intrigued to see what they do with it. I think Bungie loses no matter what. Whatever change they make, people might not like it. We'll see. Maybe they don't overcook it. Maybe they do. We'll find out. So now we're going to be talking about stasis. I made a joke about this earlier. Hey guys, don't forget that Black Friday sale's going on and you could buy the Beyond Light for 67% off. Go ahead and get yourself brand new stasis unlock subclass, because that's why we're buffing it. Simple changes here. Whisper of Hedrons is not going to give you a -10 strength penalty anymore. Whisper of Impetus now provides 10 resilience. Whisper of Shards no longer provides 10 resilience. Rip my triple 100 build. I was using shards to get that 10 resistance, so I'm gonna have to find a way around it now. Whisper of Hunger stat penalty is no longer negative mobility and intellect. It's -20 strength, and Whisper of Bonds is now no longer a -10 discipline penalty. For hunters, Withering Blade is now increased projectile speed by 10%, increased maximum projectile lifetime by 10%, increased maximum bounce count from 2 to 3, and increased tracking consistencies. All good changes for the Withering Blade. Winter Shroud, slow stacks applied to PvE combatants 40 to 60, slow duration from 4 to 8, and slow detonation 8 to 9 meters. All good things. Shivering Strike for Titans slows players on hit. Now this was nerfed in hotfix 3.2.0.3.869259, but Bungie thought, hey, let's bring it back so they can freeze them on one hit. Now that's gonna trigger people. Fixed an issue where Shiver Strike would not function with the melee kickstart armor mod, so we're gonna be getting that back. So yeah, they're just gonna be sitting here meleeing the shit out of you in PvP. Glacial Quake now freezes nearby players on a cast. Previously removed in hotfix 3.1.1.1.6.2.8.9 to the dash to the 4th degree. Now, when you pop your Glacial Quake super and someone's running up on you in PvP, you're gonna freeze them. And you're probably going to hit them with the Fortnite dance, and then who knows, maybe bag them in the end. We'll see. Don't do that, by the way. On cast, you also freeze, and impulse size versus players have been reduced from 8 meters to 6. Howl of the Storm fixed an issue where Howl of the Storm was not consistently freezing targets on the contact, created stasis crystals. All good. Frost Pulse for warlocks, you're going to significantly increase consistency against fast moving targets. The reason why they did this change is involved reworking how the ability applies freeze to targets, reducing the latency between the ability activated when the target is actually frozen. Freeze detonation size versus PvE combatants increased from 8 to 8.5 meters. Penumbral Blast for warlocks increased detonation size when impacting environment 1.5 to 2. The Glacier Grenade reduced base cooldown from 152 to 121. Pretty much all the Shaybonder Warlock grenades, like the Cold Snap, the Glacier, they're trying to make it so that people want to use different stuff, but we all know that we just pair them with the Cold Snaps anyway. Cold Snaps fixed an issue where the Seeker was not consistently created in the direction of the projectile was moving after a bounce, and also the tracking strength now ramps down from full strength 0 of the grenade's lifetime. We'll see. Freeze, increase. So this is pretty insane right here. The bonus damage that special weapons deal to frozen targets by a small amount. Freeze, so increase special ammo weapon damage bonus versus frozen targets from 5% to 10. So that's huge. These are not the only changes for the stasis that we have in the works, and we have some long requested changes for a future release that we'll discuss once they're closer. A sneak peek preview. We're going to be a new stasis keyword we've tentatively calling Frost Armor, aimed at addressing some of the players' feedback regarding survivability when running stasis, particularly when not using Whisper of Rime and Whisper of Chains. So maybe you can wear some armor that might help you against stasis. Additional tuning changes and reworks to existing stasis fragments, and additional behavior to harvest aspects. So I know that was a lot, and now we're coming up on the exotic armor and armor mod changes. This is where it gets really interesting. I know it's a lot here, but I just wanted to cram it all into one video. If you're still watching along, hey, you still get the feedback. Hunters, Shards of Galanor. Throwing Knife now grants super energy ranging between 2.5 and 5 depending on the enemy killed. So they want you to get your throwing knife kills is going to be really good, because you got to remember you got knife trick on your hunter. So are we going to run shards? Maybe. We'll see. Ophidia is going to give us knife kills now grant a stacking damage bonus 30%, 60, and 100% for 5 seconds. 2 throwing knives, dodging refreshes the duration. This could be really busted with 1-2 punch builds. I still think this works with 1-2 punch builds, the throwing knife. So yeah, 100% for 5 seconds might be insane. Stompies. They finally got unnerfed, right? Removed the requirements to have full class ability energy to benefit from the movement bonuses. Reduced the airborne lateral acceleration bonus. And now it provides damage resistant against combatants while airborne. Stompies are back on the menu. Mechaneer's trick sleeves. The sidearm damage bonus now persists for 5 seconds after your shield begins to recharge. Sidearm kills extend the duration by 3 seconds and completely reload your sidearm from reserves. The damage bonus has been reduced in PvP to compensate for it to last longer. It now has 10% sidearm damage, so we could run trick sleeves with some sidearm stunning champions, but we'll see. The bombardiers now apply 20 slow stacks to enemy players and 40 slow stacks to PvE combatants. Interesting. Triton Vices increase glaive melee damage bonus while surrounded to 100% for both PvE and PvP. For some reason, some of these changes, Bungie wants us to use glaives for damage. This might be insane. I mean, 100% damage. Can you imagine rocking this with like close to melee on your glaive? We'll see. Celestial Nighthawk precision kills now grant super energy ranging between 1.5% and 4.5% depending on the target. So Celestial Nighthawk builds might be cool. Pretty much they're doing the same thing with shards. They just want to give you your super back faster. Remember, I mean, Celestial Nighthawk already does give you your super back a lot, so we'll see. Moving on to the Titan, we got Severance Enclosure, increases the size and damage of the explosion. Remember, this exotic was busted before, but they nerfed it. And kills with the exotic explosion will now trigger an additional explosion. So now that we can trigger multiple explosions with this exotic, it might be something to look at for ad clear or like lost sectors. This is interesting with Pyramid Greaves. You now have to be airborne for a brief time before the exotic effects will apply, but that's okay because it says right here, damaging champions, tormentors, or mini bosses with a shoulder charge deals further increased damage and refund your melee energy. This needs to be tested because if it does work with shotguns, are we able to one-shot champs again? We're gonna find out. I just have to see how long we have to be in the air for Pyramid Greaves to work. Worm Gods. We know that these broke the game a few times, but Bungie said, hey, we're gonna make them kind of busted now. Let me know what you guys think. Burning exotic fist perk effect has been reworked. It is now a meter that increases with melee kills and finishers and decays over time. So it says that we can't jump, shoot, and then melee, but I thought that was for sliding. We'll find out, I guess. All right. So now the way Worm Gods is going to work is it's going to have the meter and it's going to decrease over time. So burning fist times 5, countdown. Burning fist times 4, times 3, times 2. So it's going to last longer, which could break the game. Worm Gods is absolutely insane. So the meter is broken up into 5 sections, which provide escalating melee and glaive melee damage bonuses. The upper end of the meter also provides escalating weapon damage bonuses. As the meter decays, it passes back through the earlier tiers rather than deactivating immediately. The meter decays more quickly the more full it is. I think Worm Gods might be back on the map because if you just proc Worm Gods times 5 and then you go punch something, I mean, literally bosses were dying to this. So now that it's going to last a little longer, man, I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued to see how this is going to work. It won't work with bonk, but it will work with 1-2 punch shotgun. We'll be testing this out for sure. Ashen Wakes. Ashen Wakes are huge, man. Fusion grenade impacts now stun unstoppables. So all you got to do is throw on some of those solar busted artifact mods, throw on some Ashen Wakes, spam your fusion grenades, and you're going to stun unstops. Remember, when you hit your solar ability on that champion, it's going to weaken them. Yeah, that might be fun. Synthoceps, another big exotic that pretty much Titans never take off. Bungie felt it was safe to bring Synthoceps glaive melee bonus back up to subsequential amounts. We have also swapped in the increased melee lunge range for increased weapon handling and reload speed. So now Titans aren't going to get that extended melee lunge distance. It's been part of my playstyle for a long time, so it's going to be weird seeing that gone because they removed it. And now improves weapon handling and reload speed while surrounded. They're reducing the PvE surrounded melee damage bonus to 165% from 200. So you are getting 200% more melee damage while rocking Synthos. Titans, please take off the Lorelei and put on the Synthos. Now, I mean, still 165% melee damage. And if you don't have Synthos on, then you just miss out on that damage. And here comes that glaive melee bonus again. Increase glaive melee bonus to 100% from 50. I don't know why they want us to use these glaives, but we'll pull the glaives out with close to melee surrounded and we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll just melt the bosses. Moving on to precious scars. This is pretty interesting. Kills with weapons matching your subclass now apply restoration. Tier 1 for 1.5 seconds in PvP and 3 seconds in PvE. So hey, if you want to have some fun, maybe throw that on. Warlock, the Wrath Weavers. Now when you cast your Frost Pulse Rift, nearby allies gain a tier 2 stasis weapon surge bonus for 10 seconds in PvE and 5 seconds in PvP. They also gain 50 HP overshield. Could be annoying in PvP. Also, this is pretty interesting. Stasis damage bonus provided by allies. The Winter's Wrath Shockwave is now a tier 4 stasis weapon surge. So if the Warlock pops their super and activates it on a boss, you're going to get 25% weapon damage to your stasis weapons. And when the Warlock comes out of their super, they will get 25% themselves. But you're taking them out of DPS, so it's like running a banner shield right now. It's not really like a scenario we would run, but hey, whatever. Apotheosis Veil, casting your super now grants Cure tier 3 for you and your allies. And after your super ends, you temporarily gain increased melee and grenade regen for 8 seconds. Winter's Helm makes size of the weakening burst more and larger, and it will hit more targets except for finishers against bosses, which may retain the maximum size and duration. Karnstein Armlets, these are absolutely busted. This might be the new Warlock healing build. Melee kills now grant tier 3 cure and restoration for tier 1 for 8 seconds. Finishers now grant tier 3 cure and restoration for tier 2. You get tier 2 restoration just for a finisher for 8 seconds. Pair this with like Sunshot, pair this with Empyrean on your fragment, and you will have unlimited healing for your Warlock. Holy smokes. Aeons, they're going to change how this works. If you run Sect of Force, Sect of Insight, or Sect of Vigor, pretty much everybody runs Sect of Insight now for making ammo, because we love hitting finishers on majors and champs to make ammo for our team. But now they want to change it up and they want to grant you bonuses for wearing multiple sets of them or running different mods. If you run Sect of Force, you're going to get rapid precision hits, provide quicker reload and weapons swap speeds, and bonus now lasts for 10 seconds from 6. No longer grants bonus melee grenade or super energy while stunning a champion or defeating a mini boss. Instead, stunning a champion or rapid precision hits on champions, elites, or mini bosses will mark them for you and your allies. Allies deal 20% more damage to marked targets. So again, Sect of Force might be a good support build, might be good for GMs when a target's marked. Nearby cult allies who did not have the Sect of Force role equip gain grenade and melee energy. Sect of Insight will still provide your ammo bonus, but nearby Aeon cult allies who do not have the Sect of Insight role equipped no longer gain a bonus to weapon damage for a short time. Instead, they gain a burst of super energy. Sect of Vigor, now you provide damage resistance against combatants when the ally dies or is resurrected, in addition to the existing class ability energy. When you cast your super, your nearby allies no longer gain an instant burst of healing or an overshield. Instead, they nearby critically wounded allies gain damage resistance from combatants as long as they stay near you. And nearby Aeon cult allies who do not have Sect of Vigor role equipped will also recover class ability energy more quickly. So that's huge. Now we get into the part where I just don't understand. Armor mod changes. I don't understand this one bit. I get it. So I made a good point on stream earlier. Right now, there's not many build crafting left in Destiny. It's just throw the few mods on, throw these fragments on your subclass, call it a day. Well, we had a little bit with heavy-handed firepower, Reaper, outreach bomber, distribution. We don't really use kickstarts anymore. But with these changes I'm about to read to you, they pretty much made build crafting kind of go out the window for me. And again, I don't want to jump conclusion on this. I want to test it out, but man, it's like, why didn't you just go after the amount of super energy we get from orbs instead of taking the orbs of power away? Because orbs of power don't only benefit our abilities and our super because we spec into getting our abilities back, but it also plays into build fantasy, getting my woven mail, getting devour, getting other abilities that I'm spec'd into. Now they kind of just took that out the window. So they made a big change, and I'm going to read the top paragraph first. Adjusting several armor mods to reiterate what was touched on the gameplay section. The high potential power output of abilities means they need to have proportional uptime and require meaningful and sometimes difficult build crafting choices. Currently, the high watermark for ability uptime is higher than we'd like. Okay, if it was higher than you'd like though, Bungie, you should have addressed it right away. Why wait till now? In order for us to hit our broader goals of regaining and ability energy sources across the sandbox, we need to reduce the amount of energy fed into energy economy armor mods. Heavy-handed, firepower, and Reaper. These now have a 10-second cooldown on generating an orb of power, which is just absolutely insane. Reaper, remember, Reaper was a problem in PvP. Reaper also requires a kill to be secured within 10 seconds of using your class ability. I think this Reaper change is because of PvP, because people would proc Reaper and then just wait. Yeah, that's a little tough for me. Melee kickstart, grenade kickstart, and utility kickstart. Here's where these get interesting and we might want to use them. Now provides between a 16% and a 45% ability energy that requires to at least a single armor charge to be consumed. Grenade kickstart could be busted. If we go back up, I'm going to actually go back up real quick and we're going to look at that artifact mod. Remember, using stuff like grenade kickstart, melee kickstart, utility kickstart, we just need armor charges. Well, guess what? Rapid final blows with rocket launchers and grenade launchers grant me an armor charge. So we might be able to keep up our armor charges a lot. So speccing into these kickstarts might be very important for our builds now. And this is pretty crazy too. Momentum transfer, bolstering detonation, impact induction, and focusing strike. These four played a lot in our builds. But now they provide a stacking percent, 12, 17, 20 ability energy, or 1, 2, and 3 stacks respectively, and require a powered melee attack. So they got the first part right, but it requires a powered melee attack is a little tough. They really want us to stack these. We don't have enough mods on our gauntlets to make room for all these. Same thing with outreach and bomber, and now provides stacking percentage, 12, 17, and 20 ability energy for 1, 2, and 3 stacks respectively. So they want us to either stack them or use multiple. We'll see. Outreach, bomber, and distribution. Outreach and bomber now provide 12, 17, and 20% ability regen. Distribution now provides 4, 6, and 7% ability regen. And energy provided is further reduced based on the cooldown of the class ability used within the shortest cooldowns of 60%. So it's a little tough. This is the main source of builds, and they kind of tweaked it a little bit. I just don't understand the 10-second cooldown. The 10-second cooldown is rough. I think it's too much. Everything else, I get it. They want us to stack stuff and get more benefits from it, but man, the 10-second cooldown, I just don't understand it. I don't think it's really going to affect a veteran player, but I think that's really going to affect a new player or a player that doesn't spec into builds a lot. They're going to struggle. So we'll see. As you guys do know, the Fire Team Finder 1810 know what to do, well locked. I did not know how long they were going to be working on the LFG system, but right here it says after almost 2 years of hard work, Season of the Wish, it will launch. So we will have that test beta on November 30th. I'll be checking out the raids. I'll be doing the test betas. I'll be doing LFG, but man, I really hate that we have to go through a test beta, but I understand why. Man, I was really hoping it would be here already. Don't forget, that's for Black Friday. Everything's on sale for 67% off till December 1st. And if you make a purchase, you get these emblems. So that's going to do it for this video. I know I just read a lot of stuff and you're like, oh my God, is he ever going to get to the end? Let me know what you guys think. I agree with the Banner of War. I agree with the bonk. No, I get it. They want us to put us on cooldowns. I think the way they're making changes is good because they're putting it all at once. Like right now, they're going after bonk, Banner of War, other stuff. They're going after this. They're going after build. They're doing it all in once. And the fact that they're going to do it now going into this new season is good because it's going to give them any feedback they get from us for these new changes. They're probably going to fix before final shape, but everything I just read there encourages me to run a Arc Hunter. I'm just saying, you know, I've been playing a lot of Arc Hunter, Solar Hunter, and also Titan still, but Arc Hunter really didn't get affected there. I could just run an Arc Hunter with solar weapons from the artifact and just absolutely be busted still. 1-2 punch, shotgun, bang, bang. Let me know what you guys think. And I know it was a lot. Can't wait for the new season. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. God bless.